Good morning, live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh, coming up in the next 30 minutes. US President Donald Trump acknowledges possibility of recession, but insists that his policies will bring a boom in the country's economy. Australians cast their final votes in the national elections. Prime Minister Albanese facing off Liberal Party's Peter Dutton. Singapore votes in first major test for new Prime Minister Lawrence Wong and his long-ruling People's Action Party amid public discontent. President of Angola, João Manuel Gonzalez Lourenco, on a three-day visit to India to be accorded ceremonial welcome in New Delhi, will hold talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Day 3 of WAVE's World Audiovisual and Entertainment Summit to witness big names, global collaborations and public sessions. US President Donald Trump on Friday downplayed concerns about potential economic trouble, saying everything would be okay in the long term, even if United States economy experienced a recession in the short term. During an interview with NBC News, Donald Trump said US was in a transition period and was going to do, according to him, fantastically, while downplaying the impact any short-term recession may have. Trump's comment on the US economy being in a transition period echoed comments he made earlier on Friday in a social media post, in which he also cited strong employment and reiterated his call for US Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. The US economy, world's largest, unexpectedly contracted in the first 3 months of the year as Trump began his plans for sweeping tariffs. Financial markets have been in tumult since Trump took office and moved to revamp the global economic order with the return of sweeping tariffs on imports. Voting is ongoing on Saturday in Australia's national elections. Polls that show will likely favour Labour Prime Minister Anthony Albanese over the Conservative challenger Peter Dutton. Polling booths in Australia, among the few democracies with mandatory voting, opened early morning. Although record 8 million out of 18 million eligible voters had already cast ballots before Saturday. Overseas, tens and thousands of Australians were expected to cast ballots at booths set up in 83 countries. Albanese said his centre-left government had built really strong foundations during his term and needed a second term to follow through on key policies. Dutton, also starting his day in Melbourne, urged voters to choose the Liberal National Coalition. Both major parties have focused on cost of living pressures, but opinion polls show that global uncertainty driven by Donald Trump's stop-start tariffs rapidly became a top issue for voters during the campaign. A result could come as soon as Saturday night, unless the vote is very tight. From Australia to Singapore, voting in polling stations across Singapore is underway as voters cast their ballots in an election seen as the first real test for Prime Minister Lawrence Wong and his long-ruling People's Action Party. The PAP is expected to retain a clear majority in the parliament under leadership of Wong, who succeeded longtime leader Lee Hsien Loong last year. Amid looming US tariffs and uncertain economic future, approximately 2.75 million Singaporeans are expected to vote in this election, which will determine the 97 members of the country's unicameral parliament. Initial results are expected to begin emerging around midnight. The opposition Workers' Party, led by Pritam Singh, is seeking to challenge the overwhelming dominance of the ruling People's Action Party. On to some other stories. Russian drone strikes on Ukraine's second city of Kharkiv that wounded about 50 people late on Friday. The attacks came hours after Russian strikes on southern city of Zaporizhia wounded more than 20. The attack has damaged residential buildings, civilian infrastructure and vehicles. Kharkiv lies close to the Russian border. has been relentlessly attacked throughout the conflict. Federal investigators have launched a probe after 2 flights aborted landings at Reagan-Washington National Airport on Thursday because of presence of U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter that was headed to Pentagon. The National Transportation Safety Board is also investigating the matter following a January 29th mid-air collision of American Airlines regional jet and an Army Black Hawk that killed all 67 people aboard the 2 aircraft. The FAA imposed permanent restrictions on non-essential helicopter operations around Reagan National Airport. The FAA told Congress it was reviewing the Army helicopter's route in the 2 loss of separation incidents on Thursday, whether the route violates an agreement with the Army. The FAA in March permanently closed 1 key route and prohibited the use of 2 smaller runways at the airport when helicopters conducting urgent missions are operating near the airport. Canadian prosecutors have charged a 30-year-old Vancouver resident with murder for killing at least 11 people aged between 5 to 65 and injuring dozens after he rammed an SUV through a crowd at a Filipino community festival in Western Canadian city on April 26th. According to Vancouver police, the man was charged with 8 counts of second-degree murder by prosecutors in British Columbia, and further charges are anticipated. Authorities describe him as having had a significant history of interaction with authorities involving mental health. They said there was no evidence of terrorism. The attack on Saturday evening took place 2 days before Canada's federal elections. The first ever World Audiovisual and Entertainment Summit WAVES 2025 is taking place in Mumbai, organized by Ministry of Information and Broadcasting. The event aims to spotlight India's entertainment potential on a global stage. Day 3 of the summit, witnessing big names, global collaborations and public sessions. The summit opens to the public on May 3rd and May 4th, featuring live events, performances and interactive exhibits. And in a major boost to digital content, PTC Network has joined hands with Prasar Bharati, India's public broadcaster, to bring its popular channels to the new OTT platform WAVES. This partnership will add a vibrant mix of regional entertainment, family dramas, youth-focused shows to the platform's growing library. The move aims to expand the reach of both organizations, deepen viewer engagement. DD India's Tapush Bhattacharya caught up with Rabindra Narayan, Managing Director, President of PTC Network, to learn more.
It's a huge opportunity for us to have you. We are here at the Prasar Bharati Pavilion in WAVES. How does it feel to be here, sir?
It's a great thing that finally Ministry of Information and Broadcasting has done on a global level. This initiative will go far in establishing India as a global content hub. Earlier, all of us used to go to either NAB or Vegas or Amsterdam to participate in events like this, where India only had a marginal presence. Now you will establish that India is the global content hub. It's the biggest media market. It's the biggest content creation hub even today. And there aaye, bahut durust aaye.
And now you're also with associated with Prasar Bharati when it comes to providing content for the WAVES.
So we've given almost 5,000 hours of content to WAVES on a revenue sharing basis, so that we could increase the, I would say, the character of WAVES, increase the character of what Indian platforms like WAVES have to offer, in contrast to what only the foreign platforms are offering or isolated platforms are happening. It's an aggregated platform where the best of the content created in India would be available. And we want everybody to go to this platform and see. In Punjabi, we've given them 100-odd short films. No other platform has more than 100 Punjabi short films, Gurbani and whole lot of other content, reality shows and whatever PTC does is available now on WAVES also.
So you have Ravindra Narayan telling us that WAVES OTT platform, the app has all the content that is required, and more importantly in local languages for our country, which is as diverse as any other country. With Campus Ashish, this is Tapush Bhattacharya for TD India from Mumbai.
Lava International has unveiled direct-to-mobile D2M feature phones at the Waves 2025 summit in partnership with Tejas and Freestream Technologies. Supporting the Make in India vision, the innovation uses terrestrial TV airways to deliver live TV, OTT, audio and alerts without internet or Wi-Fi. A game changer for feature phone users across India. DD India's Tapush brings us more on this breakthrough technology.
Well, India's mobile industry is booming, and now we can see our special shows, matches and everything on mobile. Well, Tejas Network has come up with a partnership with the Lava Mobile, and they have come out with the technology that can reduce internet dependence, and the rural India can watch all their things, the free-to-air things, along with Doordarshan on their mobile. Let me get you first, Mr. Parag Naik. Tell us about how this can work on a mobile, and you don't need internet connection.
We were India's first fabless semiconductor company. We built these D2M chipsets that you see here. There are 3 generations of them, and this is the 3rd generation, and one of the most sophisticated chips that are actually built in modem chips that are built in India.
How do these things work? I mean, what is the whole idea behind this?
It's a software-defined radio, which means based on what firmware you load to it, it behaves that way.
Okay.
Yeah, just like your PC, you can load an Excel firmware, or you can load Word or something else. You can load a certain software into this, and it behaves this way.
Okay.
So this right now runs a D2M standard called ATSC, which is based in the US. That's the 5th generation broadcasting standard that allows you to directly access video, both non-linear, which is OTT, and linear video.
You can still watch, a lot of movies, matches, things that Doordarshan is providing on free-to-air. Sir, Mr. Gautam Singh, please tell us how this works.
So we are happy to partner with Tejas Network. So they are the ones who've designed the chipset, which is powering this device. So basically what happens is that you are able to get the, feed directly onto your phone without the need for a SIM card or even a data connection.
Tell us how this whole thing came into, and you guys designed this whole mobile with this antenna.
Yeah, so we are the one, like we have our own design setup in India, and we design all our products here in India. So we collaborated with Tejas, and they have come up with this disruptive idea with the chip, and we integrated that chip with a mobile phone design, and this has huge potential because there is no dependency on data, there is no dependency on internet, and this will work like a TV.
So that was the 3 gentlemen giving us a demo on what the future lies. The Prime Minister Modi has said that the screen is getting smaller, the content is getting bigger, and this is how it's being done. Still a prototype, but in days to come, we expect these kind of disruptive technologies to come to India, and especially in the rural part of the country. With camera person Ashish, this is Tapush Bhattacharya for DD India from Mumbai.
Still to come on this edition of DD India Live. India's total exports reach record high in 24-25. Sacred relics of Lord Buddha from India arrive in Vietnam. In IPL, Royal Challengers Bengaluru will face a struggling Chennai Super Kings. Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Angola President João Manuel Gonzalez Lourenco is on a 3-day visit to India. The visiting president will be accorded a ceremonial welcome at the forecourts of Rashtrapati Bhavan. He will hold discussions with President Draupadi Murmu, who will host a banquet in honor of the visiting dignitary. President Lourenco will have delegation-level talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who will also host a lunch in his honor. A number of MOUs agreements are expected to be signed during the visit, which shall give fillip to the bilateral relations between the two countries. This is President Lourenco's first ever bilateral state visit to India. A visit of President of Angola to India is taking place after 38 years. The visit comes at a time when India and Angola are celebrating 40th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations this year. India and Angola enjoy warm and friendly relations built over the years. Both countries support one another's candidature at various multilateral fora, including at the United Nations. Union Minister Kiren Rijiju led a distinguished Indian delegation as the sacred relics of Lord Buddha arrived in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, marking the beginning of the Vesak celebrations from May 6th to 8th. With deep reverence, the relics were ceremonially enshrined at the Tan Tam Monastery, highlighting India's spiritual bond with Vietnam. In a heartfelt gesture, Minister Rijiju planted a sacred Bodhi tree sapling at the Vietnam Buddhist University, symbolizing peace and friendship. Union Minister further emphasized the shared values of compassion and harmony. The relics will be exhibited across Vietnam until May 21st, fostering cultural and spiritual connections. In other news, Pakistan continues to violate ceasefire by initiating unprovoked small arms firing across the line of control in different sectors of Jammu and Kashmir. Meanwhile, Indian Army troops responded in a calibrated and proportionate manner. The ceasefire violation along the LOC in Kashmir follow a series of measures taken by India in response to the Pahalgam terror attack, in which terrorists shot dead over 26 civilians in Prasar Bharati. 25 kilometers from Srinagar, Kheer Bhavani Temple in Gandarbal district of Kashmir is quite popular amongst locals and tourists. The worship of Kheer Bhavani is universal among Hindu Kashmiris as the protective patron deity or Kuladevi. DD India correspondent Vishal Baristo spoke to a group of tourists who had come to offer prayers in the wake of Pahalgam attack.
I'm here at Gandarbal, and this is the temple of Kheer Bhavani, goddess Kheer Bhavani. This is the temple people come and worship here. And I have some tourists, some pilgrims. They have come from Kolkata, from Hyderabad. So let's talk to them and find out how has been your travel here, especially after the incident. Does it bother you?
Actually, it is a pre-decided. That means we had a conference over here, Indian Association of Geriatric Mental Health. So we have decided, but after that incident happened, so people are scared, but we think we should not. Because this is the time we should support our people, those who are local. We should come and we should attend, because any sporadic incidents cannot stop us. That is why I think this is the right time to come here and support our brothers and sisters of Kashmir.
Did you also pray for the peace of the land, peace in the land?
Absolutely. It's not for the land alone, for our nation. What has happened is the terrorism from our neighbor country, which is happening for, I think, for a few decades. Time has come where I think nation has united this time. It shouldn't have happened, it happened. We pray for the nation, peace, not only peace and prosperity of our country, especially this place. And J&K thrives by tourism. So I expect that Lord Bhavani and Lord Shiva, Lordess Bhavani and Lord Shiva will definitely give the blessings to not only each one of us, but to the entire nation, so that we prosper once again. We are already on the top, so we would continue on the top.
So there you heard these people, they have all words of appreciation, of confidence, of safety, and yes, of a reverence towards the temple and the goddess. With cameraman Mohit Uike in Gandarbal, this is Vishal Baristo for DD India.
Some news from economy. India's total exports have touched an all-time high of $824.9 billion in the financial year 2024-25. As per the latest data released by the Reserve Bank of India, RBI, on services trade for March 2025, now this marks a growth of 6.01% over the previous year's export figure of $778.1 billion, setting a new milestone in the country's trade trajectory. Services exports continued to drive the growth momentum, reaching a historic high of $387.5 billion in 24-25. In the same financial year, the merchandise exports, excluding petroleum products, rose to a record, registering 6% increase from $352.9 billion in 23-24, the highest ever annual non-petroleum merchandise exports. Let's turn to sports. In form, Royal Challengers Bengaluru will face struggling Chennai Super Kings at the M. Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bengaluru on Saturday. RCB are second in the points table with 7 wins, 3 losses in the 10 matches. The defeated Delhi Capitals in the previous match will be looking to continue their good form. CSK, on the other hand, have already been eliminated, are now playing for pride. They are at the bottom of the table with 2 wins out of 10 matches. In chess, world champion D. Gukesh will lead India against Grandmaster Hikaru Nakamura of the USA in a new 5-board team match which will take place in Arlington on October 4th this year. The event features Grandmaster Fabiano Caruana versus Grandmaster Arjun Agassi, plus a duel between chess ambassadors Levi Rosman and Sagar Shah. US talent Carissa Yip will face India's 19-year-old Divya Deshmukh, the highest rated female player under 21. With 5 boards featuring stars, creators, champions and prodigies, Team US plays white for home advantage. The second leg is set for India soon. England and Wales Cricket Board on Friday announced that transgender women have been banned from competing in all levels of women's cricket with immediate effect after a change of policy from the sport's governing body. In an update to its transgender regulation, the ECB said only those whose biological sex is female will be able to participate in women's and girls' cricket. The ECB said transgender women and girls can continue playing in open and mixed cricket categories. Earlier, country's Football Association issued a similar directive banning transgender women from women's soccer team in England. And that's all in this edition of DD India Live. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan this QR code on your screens and download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.